Let's talk culture. What is culture? We hear this word all the time. Well, a simple definition of culture is the way of life of a particular people, a nation, right? It's the way of life. So, Mexican culture is one of my favorites. I love Mexican culture. I love their way of life as a whole. I love some Mexican food. You know what I'm saying? I love the colors of the Mexican culture. When I think Mexican culture, I think vibrant colors. I think good food. I think camaraderie, right? I think hard work. Mexicans are known for hard work. Their way of life, ingrained in their way of life, is hard work. It's unity, family, great food, vibrant colors. That's what I think about. As I was thinking about culture in general, I began to think about hip hop culture, right? There's a way of life that hip hop culture promotes, a way of life. And I want to talk about three things that hip hop culture promotes that I believe are detrimental to our thriving as a people. Now, look, I grew up in hip hop culture. I grew up drenched in hip hop culture. I grew up on Lil Wayne. I grew up, you know what I'm saying, on Ludacris, on UGK, on Zero. I'm qualified to speak about hip hop culture, right? I want to talk about three areas that hip hop culture is promoting a negative lifestyle. It's three different areas, and check it out. Number one is financial irresponsibility. Financial irresponsibility. How many songs from my favorite rappers are they glorifying liabilities? Right? Go buy that Rolex. Go buy that depreciating item. You know what I'm saying? Spend a lot of money. I got 4 or 5 cars, right? How many of us heard our favorite rappers talk about, I'm in a strip club spending thousands, but I don't have thousands in my bank account, in a savings plan? Like, that's not smart. And you're talking about young, impressionable people listening to this. I'm not really concerned with the older folks because, we should know better. But these youngins, they just hearing their favorite rappers talking about this stuff, how horribly they're spending money. They're not investing it, they're spending it. And because this is a way of life that's being promoted, it's destructive. Dr. Umar talk about it all the time. And I don't agree with everything Dr. Umar says, but one of the things he always hits, right on the head is, how much money black people generate annually, but we see where it goes, and it shows, a lack of awareness, and it shows a lack of priority, and it shows a lack of wisdom. And I believe hip hop culture, it promotes this negative way of life when it comes to financial stewardship. Number two, I believe it promotes sexual irresponsibility, flat out sexual immorality. How many songs from my favorite rappers, you know, from Baby Got Back back in the day, I like big butts, to Lollipop, to y'all know sexual immorality. Hip hop culture promotes this, man, live and let live lifestyle. Go have sex. Go. Oh, you want her? Go get her. You want her too? Lil Wayne said, I wish I could, you know what, every girl in the world. And that's been a way of life that hip hop promotes as good, right? Multiple sexual partners. He seriously can't see the negative in that? Come on, bro. Like, we feel like God is being controlling. He's being this dictator by saying, yo, find you one woman, find you one man, miss, and connect with him in covenant under me for life. Love him, love her, and that's it. We feel like that's, oh, God's trying to be controlling. No, God knows what's best for you. He knows what's best for me, right? There would be no STDs if people obeyed God's way, if people followed his way. There would be no soul ties if people followed his way. The problem is we think we know better than our creator. But hip hop culture, like I said, promotes this live and let live. Do what you want to do with your body like it's ours. These bodies not even ours. We should hold them in high regard. These are the temples of God, and he desires to use our bodies for his glory. And one of those ways we glorify God is in the bedroom, like that or not. It's being responsible with your body. There's so many people that have regrets today in their bodies because of, they didn't follow God's way. and they end up suffering the consequences. So don't let hip hop culture fool you. These bodies ain't even ours, bro. Let's use them to glorify God. Lastly, I believe hip hop culture promotes immorality in general. Hip hop culture promotes godlessness. It's a guy by the name of Aleister Crowley. A lot of your favorite rappers know who he is. He's basically like, I think he deemed himself the most evil man in the world. He's long gone now. This guy was back in the day. He had this phrase that hip hop culture, I believe, adopts and promotes. Jay-Z actually wore the hoodie with this phrase on it. And the phrase is this: do what thou wilt. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, he said. And what does that mean? Do what thou wilt means life is about doing what you want to do. You are your own God. Do what you want to do. Hip hop culture promotes this. It doesn't promote, you're a created being, humble yourself and obey God. If you make a song like that, people going to be like, bro, like, they look at us, artists like myself. That's what kind of music I make. Humble yourself and obey God. We're the weird ones. But hip hop culture says you're your own God. Do whatever you want to do. And once again, when you do whatever you want to do, that's called the purge, right? We seen the purge. No rules, no law. We are the law, and we gonna live how we want to live. Well, in no area in society does that work out. In hip hop culture, straight up lying to us. We are accountable to God for our actions. Ecclesiastes 12 says it like this: the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep his commandments. It says because God is going to judge everything that we do. So in other words, we are to live our lives on a daily basis as if we're going to give account to our God. And when we do that, it restrains us from doing certain things. Why? Because I know I'm going to have to give account. In other words, when somebody holds us responsible for our actions begin to line up with that superior that we're going to have to give account to. It's living with this healthy fear, this reverence for God. And so, these are just 3 ways I thought of today. And I just want us to continue to grow and continue to monitor what we're listening to, what we're looking at on a daily basis. And let's ask ourselves this: is what I'm looking at, is what I'm listening to promoting a healthy way of life? Because even subconsciously, this could be affecting us in ways that we don't even know. God says, don't copy the customs of this world, the culture of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. By the renewing of our minds. We got to change the way we think. And a good way to do that is to soak our minds in the Word of God. It's your boy Rain. This is Words Can Heal TV. If you like what you heard, subscribe. And remember, if words can hurt, words can heal. Gone.